Russian propaganda is getting more and more ridiculous. For the first time since the beginning of the Russian attack on Ukraine, Moscow has reported the use of the hypersonic missile Kinzhal. The Russian Air Force used the missile to destroy a Ukrainian missile arsenal. Ukraine reported several dead and wounded in renewed Russian attacks. And Russia has accused Ukraine of preparing false flag attacks on Western diplomatic facilities in the western Ukrainian city of Lviv in order to put pressure on NATO. The defense ministry in Moscow accused Ukraine of preparing those attacks on the Western diplomats there and then accusing Russia. The nationalist Kyiv regime plans to present attacks on US and Western diplomat sites as an alleged targeted attack by Russian forces, Russian Defense Ministry spokesman Igor Konashenkov said on Saturday evening. It was also said from Moscow that Kyiv was planning chemical attacks on civilians in the Sumy and Mykolaiv regions. There was no evidence for these statements, and it's more likely that Russia wants to use those weapons. For its part, Ukraine repeatedly accuses Russia of spreading untruths about allegedly planned provocations in order to then be able to attack under false flags themselves. The United States had recently expressed concern, among other things, that Russia could use allegations of the threat of chemical weapons use as a pretext for a potential false flag operation. And that sounds more likely to me. Both sides are also responsible for sea mines in the Black Sea off the Ukrainian coast. The Russian side announced on Saturday that the use of this Kinzhal missile destroyed the Ukrainian Air Force's underground ammunition depot in Delyatin in southwestern Ukraine on Friday. It was the first use in combat ever, it was said. 2 military reconnaissance bases were destroyed in the Odessa region on the Black Sea, but this information could not be verified. So far, the Kinzhal missiles have mainly been used for maneuvers, most recently a few days before the invasion of Ukraine, which began on February 24th. They are fired from MiG-31 fighter planes, and according to Russian information, they can hit targets at a distance of up to 2,000 kilometers, bypassing all air defense systems, and exceed the speed of sound several times over. And on Saturday evening, NATO responded evasively to the question of whether it could confirm the use of a Kinzhal. A spokeswoman said the alliance was aware of the reports of the use of hypersonic missiles. Ukraine reported several deaths and injuries in renewed Russian attacks. In the town of Bucha, northwest of the capital Kyiv, 7 civilians were killed by shelling on Friday, the police of the Kyiv region said. In the eastern Ukrainian region of Donetsk, the regional police authority said dozens of people were dead and injured in attacks on Friday. After a missile attack by Russian troops on a barracks in Mykolaiv in southern Ukraine, helpers recovered at least 50 dead from the rubble. A total of around 200 soldiers were sleeping in the building when the missile hit, according to Ukrainska Pravda. Almost 60 injured were taken to nearby hospitals. According to Mayor Alexander Senkevich, the attack on Friday took place in the immediate vicinity of Mykolaiv, so it was not possible to sound the alarm in time. But also this information could not be independently verified. Kyiv and Moscow have each reported the evacuation of thousands more civilians from particularly contested areas in Ukraine. More than 4,100 people fled the besieged port city of Mariupol on Saturday, the deputy head of Ukraine's presidential office, Kirilo Tymoshenko, wrote on Telegram. Almost 2,500 other civilians were brought to safety from the Kyiv and Luhansk regions via so-called escape corridors. The Russian side reported about the evacuation of almost 16,400 people from Donetsk and Luhansk and other parts of Ukraine to Russia. The Mariupol City Council accused Moscow of having brought thousands of civilians to Russia against their will. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.